Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages. My name is Mr. Evil Dragon, and welcome to Delta.app One Hub Racing, and welcome to the Hungarian Grand Prix here, situated in, well, Budapest, of course, the first race behind the Iron Curtain back in 1986. I am back after a wee break, unless you watched on Thursday, in which case I was there anyway, where we had some shenanigans with the game. But, nevertheless that, I've sacked Nick and Colin because I'm back in my commentary box, and I've got Papa alongside me. Say hello, Papa.
Hello, Papa. Good afternoon. Hope you all enjoyed the 2 weeks off, basically. Now that we're back again, it should be all about qualifying tonight here at the Hungaroring. What do you think about that?
Yes, the Hungarian Grand Prix, the Hungaroring as well. A circuit, like I said, first hosted a race in 1986. The original circuit, very similar to this one, apart from the last sector, which of course, instead of that right hand, they used to kind of do a little scriggle through towards the second last corner, which was interesting. I've been watching old F1 races back from the past, and well, I can say for certain it's, well, the racing's not changed. Though, to be fair, the racing I team tends to have a car doing 25 hot laps and coming out in P1. If you know that, you know that. But of course, these drivers are all going to be racing on tyres on a track critical for qualifying. One of the hardest circuits, apart from Monaco. They often call this Monaco without the barriers. Though there are some barriers on the circuit, and I've hit many of them as well. So it's going to be interesting, Papa, to see who's going to come out on top.
Yes, and also very interesting, we spoke about this a little beforehand, is how many people elected to put their engine penalty tonight. Bearing in mind how qualifying heavy this track is with, as you say, little overtaking opportunities. I believe there's only one real braking zone, maybe two if you count the third sector. But not so much heavy braking, fast and flowing corners, so very uneasy to overtake. Difficult was the word I was looking for, as the first people, I believe, are doing the first hot lap.
Yes, Riley currently on a hot lap, coming out of the chicane in towards the real middle end of the circuit. Right, and then, of course, straight back to the left, and then quickly to the right. A corner where we've seen many a car spin on that curb on the outside. Keeps it all hooked up, blended down, of course, towards the last couple of corners. First lap time on the board, so, of course, will be purple. Riley, of course, who's wanting to get a P3. He said he's very quick around here, so let's see what he can do. Round the last two corners, and then, of course, the last corner presents itself. A nice ride, flowing corner. Slightly tightens up a little bit midway through, but it's all absolutely perfect. Up to the line, it's going to be about a 117.9. It is a 117.9. Where's that going to put him in the long things? Well, there is Reaper, 116.9. Here comes the Ferrari of Nightcrawler, 117.2. McLaren, of course, it's Jamie, 116.7. Currently P2 in the standings. Ocon, 4th. And then further down at the grid, we are waiting for Jack Craig to go allow the champ to bleed up. Yeah, he's had a moment somewhere. Riley, that was his personal PB, and I think we do have a... someone's, I think it was a spam in the chat there ever so slightly, but I think it's fixed itself there through the last corner. Like I said, it's not going to be a good lap time. He's probably recharging the battery, or is he going to come straight in the pit lane? Where is his teammate? He's currently P7. We're looking at Ivan through the last corner and goes up to P13. We've got Madge, new guy here as well. Of course, races in the realistic performance tier. Has had his lap time invalidated. And Gamer James, a man who has got many of the Driver of the Day nominations for us. It always seems to be a J. Will we continue it this week? Maybe. I will have to give it to Jamie, Jack, and James again, constantly for the rest of time. But here is this through the last two corners. Where can the Williams go? Well, I think, looking at it, I think it's going to be around about P9. Across the line he goes, and goes P5. So a little bit quicker than I said. Although I say that, all we have to go is a tenth slower, and he would have been P9. So I'll give myself half a point.
Yes, very tight margins indeed. Although Jamie has the upper hand with 2 tenths, after that it's really close. You can't separate the two Red Bulls from Mark Crawford in the Alpine. Then you have Gamer James and Nightclaw and Okan as well, within a tenth of each other. Jake firmly behind, and then another gap of 3/10 behind. So up front, it's really close. Do you have a list with all the engine penalties? Are some of the championship contenders choosing to do their penalty tonight?
I don't, but from my understanding, not many have had their engine penalties of the top guys. I don't know who it is, because normally it says, but I can't find it again. Always gets lost in the thing. Madge goes P1 then in the Haas, so that is an absolutely stonking lap time from the Haas. What I was about to say is we have a slight lull, is going through the constructors standing, something we haven't done too much in recent weeks, and I've only just looked at it. McLaren 77 points and Mercedes on 76 points. So the top two, well, in the driver standings is McLaren and Mercedes in the drivers as well. It's Jamie and, of course, Jack as well in reverse order, because Jack leads the championship from Jamie. But the Mercedes of Jack and Jake, it's never always going to get confusing between those two one day. Like I said, they have had very strong runners, of course, 31 points in that first race, 20, 11 and 14 compared to McLaren's 22, 21, 22 and then 12. So, of course, last week at Silverstone, I heard there was a lot of incidents, and certainly it seems like some drivers did a little bit worse off looking at the points for Mercedes. It was Alpine that got 28 last time out as well. So let's start to rock up the order. It's Red Bull currently in third, Alpine in fourth, and then of course the Haas, who's currently on P1. They are in fifth in the constructors. So it's all played for on the constructors and the drivers as well, isn't it?
It really is. But you really have to say the Mercedes guys are making a better job than the McLaren boys to keep consistent points, because you have to consider that Jake did not start. He was on holidays last week in Teneriffa, as he said, so he was taking a break while his teammate still got a firm third in a good podium. Also, Jack is our championship leader at the moment with 48 points. So it's really tight behind Reaper with his first win in One Hub Racing last week round, right behind with Jamie in the McLaren as well. But I really have to say as well that the Alpine guys are on a charge. They had so many points and so many consistent good outings the last times around, scored so much that they really start to get themselves back into the fight up front. Also, they specifically in the pre-race interviews said that they always work well together, something that neither the Red Bull nor the McLaren boys are willing to do. The Mercedes boys, they drive their own races and look to help each other whenever they can, but the other guys really don't even consider it, which I believe in the constructors might be a problem later on. Also in the drivers.
Yeah, I mean,
problematic.
I mean, what? Having a little bit of problematic moments. Reaper. I mentioned earlier that curb you can very sideways on, Papa. Well, guess what? Reaper got on it, did a very majestic drift, I will say. Kept it on the island and has gone into the pit lane. As I'm looking to see who is on a lap time. I think Joel is on a lap time. He is on a lap time. Goes P1 then. 1:16.5. Like I always say, it would be really good if we had a little bit of a better timing screen. To see who is currently on a hot lap, who is on an out lap, because it can be quite difficult to see. Gamer James up on his lap time as he comes through the middle sector, turns it in to the left, and then of course in to the right before again, guess what? It's a left, and then guess what? It's another right. Here we go. That's the curb I said. Don't get on too much. You can get on the inside. It can also spin as well. I've had some very, well, on this game I've been doing some practice. Not very good at the game, I will say, but nonetheless, this is what I keep to the commentary box, as one Kimi Räikkönen said many, many years ago to Paul di Resta. You should keep to reporting. Well, I am keeping to reporting. Through the last corner comes James. Where can he put that Williams? Can he go up a place or two across the line? Doesn't prove, but not by enough. He puts himself within, I think, 81 hundredths of Shiesty, who's down on his lap time so far. As we're just going to scroll through who is on lap time. Well, it's not Fox, it's not Riley. He's, I believe, getting on towards a hot lap right now. So yeah, he's going to be getting... Nope, never mind. In the pit lane he goes. So he's decided against it. King Bryce, I think, will be the next driver on a lap. No, I don't think so, actually, because his battery, 13%. So it's going to be Jack Craig on his first lap time. And he really needs a very good lap time. He needs to aim around about P2 to P1, down into turn number 1, check it on the brakes, spot the inside right there. Nice and gentle on the outside. You can use a little bit more circuit on the exit, but he decides to go a little bit more tighter to open up down into here. A corner, like I said, you want to make sure you hook it to the inside, then tricky little corner. It's very easy in the wet, of course, which it's not going to be today, to make a mistake up into here. Again, all these corners, very easy. One small mistake and you're going straight around on the inside. You're looking at those raised tarmac sections. You do not want to be riding them. The curbs down here, of course, you can ride a little bit more, but it gives it a little bit more of a wider berth at this stage. I think right now, just wanting to get a lap time on board. Sector 1 was okay. We're coming down in towards Sector 2 in around about 2 seconds. Time gets on the curb, but the rear end says, I will keep with you right now, and it is a 54.8. So it's a bit difficult to say where he is going to be, but I think that is at least in the top 5. Into the last 2 corners. Keeps it absolutely perfect. Down into the last corner. Right-hander. Get it as close as to that white line as you can. Run it out as much on the curb. Up to line. Where is it going to be? Only P10 then. So a little bit worse for Jacqueline, I thought. But the grid very close. Because you go from Jack, who's currently, what, 17.2, to Jamie, 16.7. That's only just under 5/10 of a second, which is incredibly tight margins.
It really is. As we're kind of known in this tier, especially up front, margins are tight. Somebody I want to mention, as Nightclaw puts it on third. That's quite surprising to me. Both Ferraris actually up there said up front that they're not expecting too much because they didn't practice. They did practice, but they felt like they knew this track wouldn't be theirs. As Reaper puts it, 400ths of a second in front of the Haas in P2.
Yeah. Running aboard with Riley, who says to Roger, nearly ended up colliding with an Alpine there, who just goes up to P5, so nearly blocking the Alpine, who I don't imagine is going to be the most happiest here. Riley then down towards turn number 1, gets it stopped on his marks, and he is always been a man who wants to see how well he can do. Well, now's your opportunity, let's see what you can do, and I've got a feeling here that Mark may give a little bit of a holding up right now for blocking his lap time. No, he's going to think better of it as Riley gives him a little bit of a squeeze down there as well. So could definitely have used a bit more. Temp down in Sector 1. Comes down in towards the middle sector. Like he keeps it a little bit too much to the inside curve. And that will result in the car sliding ever so slightly. So it's not been the tidiest lap so far from Riley. But let's see what the middle sector and the last sector can do.
It is pivotal to manage traffic on your outlap, so you neither block someone on their hot lap nor get blocked in the worst case when you head down to turn 1 and the guy in front just finished his lap and doesn't see you in his mirror. So you have to always be aware of your surroundings. Helpful to have the mini-map, of course, but you have to make a good job with it on such a tight track where there's few spaces to let somebody by. You really have to plan ahead to let somebody by on a good space where there's not really much space, as I said.
Yeah, it did improve by only 1/10 of a second. Curly, of course, another driver. He was new today. Currently 3 seconds down, I don't think, on a lap time. Unless he is, like I say, the timing screen, it seems a little bit buggy again today. I think, he's coming in the pit lane, so that confirms that. James invalidated his lap time. Jake coming through the last corner to begin his one. Never mind, into the pit lane he comes, and it turns out every time I say beginning a lap time, they come in the pit lane. So it's always interesting.
It is. With 3 minutes left, it's really just one shot left. So if you have the feeling that you had a hot lap that wasn't really an improvement, it's a good thing to then box and wait for your last shot. Make that count. Because the track evolution should also be at the end of the session.
Yes, getting the words out in the end. Here's Okun's going to be the first of the next drivers to begin a lap time. His teammate behind as well is now. Now it's going to be a lot easier to see who is going to be on the lap time or not, because everyone will be currently on their last flying lap. So first up, the Ferrari. Through he comes then. The Scarlet Ferrari currently down in P7 in the Constructors, 30 points. And I do wish to say, by the way, for the situation with Haas, 40 of their 44 points have been scored by Addict, who of course isn't here, of course. He won the first 2 races in absolutely dominating fashion. And of course, well, it didn't end well after that one, but here we go. Okun down towards turn number 1. Spot your braking zone. Right on the curb on the outside, and that is about as perfect of a turn 1 as you're going to get. Then under, of course, the banner boards, you cross under the bridge, down into a corner where you've seen many a car have a cropper in the races. And of course, a very good overtaking opportunity around the outside as well. We've seen Hamilton do it, Verstappen do it, Mick Schumacher attempt to do it, and then get pushed off the circuit by Verstappen. Nice through there, very wide. Purple sector 1 there from the Ferrari. So is there an opportunity for Ferrari to spring a surprise here in Budapest? It's been a little bit of a gap, a little bit of a week break, so the drivers are all refreshed. They've been all practicing whilst we've been enjoying the little sunshine over in the UK at least, where it's been extremely nice, apart from right now where it's all cloudy. Okun through he comes then. What's it going to be? Sector 2, purple again. However, as we know, purple sectors don't mean everything on this game, because sometimes the game doesn't really show the purple sectors, but it looks like at least 2 to 3 tenths of a second improvement, which would put him around about P3 at least. Up to the line he goes down. Can he get himself on the front row of the grid? Here comes Okun. Across the line, he goes P1 then, a 1:16.3. Flying a lap from the Ferrari then. What about Nightcooler? What can the second Ferrari do? Very wayward he comes. And 4 tenths down, I think that might be his lap time, most certainly, over for now. So a mistake for him. He won't have battery to go unless this last sector can absolutely be hooked up. But I think he's going to come straight into the pit lane. And that is the end of Nightcooler's lap time. But what a lap time from Okun, as out of the qualifying goes Ivan. And now we're going to be looking down to see who's next across the line. We're looking at Madsen through the last corner. And what can the Haas driver do? Goes P3. What about the McLaren? It's going to be Shiesty up to the line. Where can he go? He goes up to P8. What about the man who really needs a lap time? And it's only 11 for Jack Craig. Can't improve. Mark Crawford, however, a 1:16.3. Even quicker. Who is next to cross the line? Well, it's Reaper who goes even quicker. 16.2. What about Jamie then across the line? Can he get himself on the front row? P7 is all he can do. As across the line comes Curly, P8. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we've pretty much got everyone have nearly done the lap time. Here comes Fox through the last corner. In the Aston Martin Mercedes. To the line he goes. Can he get himself up towards the front? Only good enough for P13. And Jake dives in to the pit lane. Riley has not finished his lap, I don't believe. Though it's saying he is 2 tenths up. So maybe he's gone for a double push lap then. Through the last corner he comes. Currently 15th. Can he elevate himself to 14th or 13th then? He was 2 tenths up. Across the line he goes. Does go 13th in the end. 17.2. As in comes Magdalene. So Reaper on pole. Mark Crawford in second. Okun in third. And then Magdalene Nubai in fourth. Well, that's going to spring a surprise. Of course, the championship leaders 7th and 12th.
Yes, and what a session from the Ferraris. Really practiced a lot with Mikey, their race engineer, who obviously is racing Wild or One Hub Racing now, and it seems to pay off. Despite their low expectations, they really showed some class laps tonight as rookies to league racing at all in their 5th race to manage to stuck it up there is really respectful. Also, we have to consider, again, there's a lot of engine penalties, so the grid you're seeing might not be the grid we're starting with.
Yeah, most certainly is indeed. But, of course, the provisional grid, not counting engine penalties, it's Reaper on pole, Mark in second, Oaken in third, Maz from Joel, Nightcaller, Jamie, Curly, James, Shiesty, Jake, Jack, Riley, Fox, Ivan, and Bryce at the back. But I think, and it's time, you know what time it is, my dear Papa? It's time to put you on the spot with a sponsorship.
Well, we have a couple of sponsors. Leading the way as our title sponsor this year is Delta.app. It's designed for investors aged 18 and over, giving you the power to track all your investments in one place. Whether you're building a long-term portfolio or actively managing your assets, Delta helps you make smarter decisions, just like the world's top investors. You can follow your journey, monitor performance in real time, and stay fully in control. If you're watching on Twitch, simply type !Delta in chat or click the link in the YouTube description if you're 18 years and older to start tracking your investments today. We are also proudly supported by Next Level Racing, who provide high quality sim racing equipment and contribute exciting prizes each season, known for their industry-leading cockpits, motion platforms, and other racing setups. They really help you with your hardware problems if you want to professionalize your setup. I know a lot of people are still on controller or desk mounting, and it really makes a difference. The stability you have with force feedback especially does make a huge difference. Next we have sim racing setups. Performance on track is everything, and if you want a good setup, they're the way to go. Professional setup bundles for F1 25 created by top esports drivers. So check out, we do have a link in the chat as well, I believe, and some bonuses if you check out our code. Of course, the driver who collects the most drivers of the days in the end, and the season of the driver of the season also collects pouches to use, and a great baseline for your setup to race quicker. Supporting driver performance even further is Pure Sim Gear. They provide premium sim racing socks and gloves to the driver who achieves the most fastest laps and pole positions throughout the season. Their products are great, and you get 10% off their sim racing socks and gloves if you put in the code OHR10P. Our official apparel is powered by Vespertine, who supply our league merchandise and contribute fantastic merch prizes across the season. Their support ensures our community can represent the league in style, both on and off track. And finally, our seasons are powered by SimGrid, who provide the community platform that allows us to organize, to manage and run our championships smoothly, giving drivers and fans a professional, competitive environment from start to finish. Together, all these great partners help us deliver a competitive, rewarding and professional racing experience.
Yes, indeed. Mark Crawford, meanwhile, not happy with the blocking in qualifying. Just reading right there. So he's not the most happy with a few drivers, and we saw, like I said, Riley getting a little bit in the way. Did jump out in the end, but cost him potentially, as he says, it was a lap time that was purple. So you can understand the frustration right there. And like I said, we'll be getting ready to go in a few moments' time, as we're just waiting for the game to let us out eventually. Has it got stuck? It might have got stuck.
Yeah, I was just wondering the same. Obviously, especially on such a qualifying heavy track, it's a shame to get blocked on your hot lap, but you always have to keep it professional, unlike some other drivers who maybe got together a little bit awkwardly in the chat last week and also got points deductions, I believe, for that. So always keep it cool. Mistakes happen. Sometimes you do make a bad job of letting other people do their thing. So if you put your hand up and say you're sorry, it should be fine. And stewards, something for the stewards to decide how to further punish.
Yeah. So luckily, I'm not going to need to restart my game because someone else is going to restart their game and it'll let me out. Don't worry, Curly. I hope it does. Otherwise, we're going to get a new stream because it's broken. Hopefully not, but there we go. Jack Craig, you are the cause of the issue, apparently. So it's doing something. Well, it's a pretty sky from up here, I will say. Helicopter in the right-hand screen. There we go. Thank you, game. It's figured itself out eventually. A new lobby being set up, and well, we're the only ones here. So, Papa, what do you think of that race and the beautiful lobby? We'll get a new lobby in a second.
Yeah. I might actually win in this lobby.
Yes, I don't know, Chief. I mean, you actually, yeah. That might be a way out. Well, I can actually exit the lobby, so now you can win. Now, what's with
maximum Michael De Masi moment?
Yes.
No, Michael, no! This is so not right.
Well, let's go and spin around some of the F1 cars again for a few moments' time whilst we're just waiting for the lobby to start. Carly's saying, is 5 grid friends including me? Well, I don't know. Who has got the grid penalties or not? Let's see. Now, I've got to try and figure out where they are. Because, as per usual, it always ends up with me not being able to find certain things, this is my fault. I will be honest, sometimes Discord does confuse me. But I'll find it eventually. It's somewhere in here. And let us see if I can find... I cannot find. So, people have different grids. We'll just have a new grid at some point. If someone could tell me where you can find the where the grid penalties are, that would be quite nice indeed. Aston Martin, right? I will say, I really wish that the Aston Martin was the more fluorescent yellow. Papa, what do you think? The more like GT spec.
Yeah, that's the only bit that I really like about that is the yellow bit. I'm obviously biased as a German football fan. I love the black and yellow, so the British racing green I can get rid of, but the black and yellow really.
Well, yeah, black and yellow.
Deep in my mind.
I sense that presumably means you are a Dortmund fan?
Yes.
There we go. I know some football. There we go. The greater penalties have been sent to me. Thank you to Jack, who's saved me. So Reaper has a penalty. Jack Craig has a penalty. Curly has a penalty. Gearbox for Fox, Shiesty, and Helveca as well. So.
You said it was none of the contenders. That's basically all of the contenders.
Yes. It turns out it's all of them pretty much. There we go. Looking through more of the grid as well. Was waiting for a lobby invitation. The Alpine, again, it's not my favourite livery. I really wish it. Well, didn't have the BWT and it was just blue. Maybe turn the pink to yellow. Chief, and I might get some flashbacks to another livery from a certain early 2000s Renault. And I think
that was also a beautiful car.
Yeah, it was. The Haas, I mean, I can't really complain much about the Haas. I think I really like the 2026 Haas quite a lot. It's one of my favourite liveries because I will admit I am a slight sucker for pure white liveries. And when it's not that, which is the Racing Bulls, which I don't particularly like the look of. The Williams, it's the blue. That's about as much I can say, and then we don't talk about that. So, a lot of liveries, and I will admit, the liveries have got better now since they've got rid of the, they've mandated you have to have more than 50% of the car painted. I think it's 80, isn't it now?
I don't know.
It's something.
I was just wondering if you could go back to further to the right. I will remember what I wanted to say.
Okay, which one?
Further to the right. Further. Let me see the selection. What was it? The Williams. Imagine if the red, orangey bit would be golden and a little bit more white. It would be reminiscent to the early 90s Williams, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, the Rothman? The Rothman's livery is an iconic one. I do like the Canon liveries as well, and are quite a lot from experience. But of course, the liveries that do, of course, more. An error has occurred. Failed to join the session. Oh dear. Now, is that basically my game's broken, or is it just going to let me in eventually? Come on, it's going to let me in. Gotta love technology. Right now, lets me in. There we go. Thank you, game. So there we are in the lobby. And just thinking of all the teams, and a lot of the teams, of course, I think they have routes that are very deep. Riley saying, can I give you a turbo? Well, you've got a turbo in the car. It is, of course, a turbo engine. So, you don't play games. I don't want to deal with a connection issue again later. Says Mike. Yeah, a little connection issue. You just have to. Sometimes the best thing is a hammer to get into the lobby. Riley says he needs a double turbo. I think we should disqualify Riley for technical infringement. Do you know, Chief?
Who's the chief? Am I the chief?
You are the chief.
All right. I did not listen. I'm sorry. I was focusing on the championship fight, to be honest. I was wondering, who would you bet on if you were a betting man?
Oh, who would I bet on? Jamie, who has won titles so far. Of course, won it a few seasons ago in a very emotional title victory a few seasons ago. Or Jack, who I believe has won titles before. He's certainly a very experienced driver. Like we said, this is his 400th race today, which is an incredibly a lot of races. I was speaking to some of them, and some of them have only got 12 or 13 races, and here we are, 400 races. I've done quite a lot of races myself, though, mainly commentating these days. I've been commentating since 10 years now, and racing since 2010 as from the earliest memories on Gran Turismo 5 and F1 2010 as well. Though I did do some races occasionally on Championship Edition when the servers were working, which they never were. That just shows how old that I seem to be. But it's going to be interesting. But yeah, I'm not going to predict who I would put the money on, because knowing my luck, I'll say it and they'll be out of the race on that one. So, it's going to be interesting, though I can definitely say, as things stand, it is looking towards McLaren's way because of this race, mainly for the fact Jack will be starting right at the back of the grid pretty much. So it's going to be interesting. Of course, like we know, it's a difficult circuit to overtake at the best of times. However, sometimes things happen. And
especially with people starting further back than they used to. I want to point out answer to the pre-race interviews I got. It was from Joel Flets, who obviously had an outing with Scheisty last week out. He really thinks that quali was his strength. Didn't seem so. But he fears the chaos on track. And that is something really coming up to us, because with a lot of contenders, fast guys in the back, and a track that sucks at overtaking, it's gonna be some fierce battles, and who can progress the most, who has the better strategy, that are gonna be the questions. Not necessarily speed alone. So it's gonna provide a lot of tight battles, I believe, and a lot of strategizing. And I believe the Alpine guys are still up to contest up front, because Reaper is quick, but he's basically doing his own thing, while Joel Flats gets feisty in the back and doesn't support. Both Mercedes guys want to fight up front, so I really think that this is gonna pay out as an advantage later on. Both are on upcoming form, and I believe Curly also joined late, had a 10-second time penalty last race round and still finished 5th, so he really does know how to manage a race if he doesn't get penalized.
Indeed. So it seems a few people are having slight issues getting into the lobby, just like what happened earlier on for me. But of course, the game likes me and it let me straight back in the lobby after doing some rituals around it. Okun has a serious issue and he can't get in to the lobby, so that could be a serious issue for the man who starts right up the front of the grid. And I do really hope he can get into the lobby. It would be a shame if he does have to miss it. Of course, like I say, don't forget to like and subscribe if you are watching on YouTube, or give us a follow on the Twitch as well. And don't forget to join P3 in just over an hour's time. It might be ever so slightly delayed due to P4 having a little bit of slight issues. Of course, that will be with, let's have a look, it's a new commentator currently, and it is, let me go get it. It's
Curly.
Yes,
It is our Alpine driver Curly, who joins us in the commentary booth later on. So
yes, alongside Lawrence, who
might be as delayed as our lobby.
Yes, it will be. Actually, that's a good point, because he has to get into the lobby. We're commentating with Lawrence, who I did double duty with a few weeks ago after your minor illness, and I'm glad you're back fit again, I will say.
Thanks.
You're welcome, of course, and don't forget that will be around about 4 to 4:30, and then a little bit later on P2, and of course P1 later this evening with Jess and another person who is in here. It's also with Jamie. So a lot of action to come this evening, and I do hope you enjoy it around the Hungary ring. A circuit, like I said, always provides some of, well, definitely can provide some of the best racing, for the pure fact is it's always difficult to overtake. So when you do get overtaking, normally they tend to be rather spectacular. You'd have to go back, of course, in real life F1, and you're thinking of the likes of Mansell and Senna back in 1989, I believe it was. Okun has communicating issues still, apparently, so I think that might be him with a DNS, something that unfortunately it seems to be quite common in 2026 in real life F1, with people not being able to start the race. It was 4 people in China didn't start. The 2 McLarens, including Oscar, who has got DNS and DNS. I feel pain in my voice saying that, because I love Oscar Piastri, one of my favourite drivers. Okun has 1 more minute, and then we have to go to try and keep the schedule as good as it can. So it looks like we are going to be a man down on the grid, and it's not what we like to see, and but it happens sometimes, and you can only really trust the game's connection. Sometimes the connection can let yourselves down, and it seems to have done it today.
Yes, we also saw in P3 tier last time round 2 weeks ago in Silverstone, some connection issues where Jess actually had a stunner of a race, was in for a very good position in the end, but her connection failed her. And yeah, that's something you obviously can't predict. You can't really make all the other guys wait for you. If something happens, it happens. It's just, as you said, like the guys at China not starting. They would have loved for everyone to just wait till everything is fixed, but sadly that's not the way it goes. Another thing I want to talk to you about before we start, though, is track limits. Because I remember that was just the thing hindering most of the guys in these races around here, because especially on worn tires, you tend to cut corners, you make mistakes, and you really collect those points. And somebody I want to put my eyes on, especially considering that, is Gamer James, because he so far made a really good job in keeping clean sheets and profiting from strong drives in the top fives. So that's something to put an eye out, as well as I believe we are sadly going without Ocon.
Yeah, here we are then, and Ocon not racing, sadly. That's a little bit of a bummer, because he was very quick, but of course, well, there goes my saying that the Ferraris are going to do well. Well, there's still one of them in the race. Here, of course, at the Hungarian Grand Prix, and it's going to be very interesting to see who is going to lead down towards turn number 1. And, of course, we'll be waiting in just over around about 2 minutes' time. Just under that, we shall be underway, of course, around this famous circuit. First race behind the Iron Curtain. Like I've said before, back in 1986... races with the likes of Senna, Mansell, Prost, Schumacher, Hakkinen, all very established names, of course. And a circuit that's had not many races as well. 2006, 2014, of course, 2021 springs to mind. But apart from that, I can't really think of too many other times it's actually rained around the Hungarian Grand Prix. Can you?
Yes, but if it does, it provides a banger of a race. I just recently rewatched some highlights from Jenson Button's first win. Very emotional, of course, with Alonso chasing Schumacher and everyone going round the outside on corners where you think no one would overtake, but he did. That was some fierce battling out there when Alonso had this beautiful Renault underneath him and was challenging the 7-time world champion. That was something my heart really broke watching it as a kid, but today I just realized how epic those battles really were.
Yeah, indeed. Kubica's first podium until it got taken away from him, and then he's got his first podium again at Monza, of course, replaced Jacques Villeneuve, of course. Kubica did after, well, he either walked away or got sacked. We still don't exactly know what happened to Villeneuve, why he left, but he did have a big accident at the Hockenheim ring a few weeks before, so are we going to see a first-time winner and a first-time podium here today? Well, it's a circuit that has provided first-time winners of plenty. Alonso won his first Grand Prix here. Piastri won his first Grand Prix here as well. And Daniel Ricciardo, if memory serves, first win as well. And don't forget as well, a very nearly spectacular win. Damon Hill, 1997, driving what could possibly be one of the worst cars for a champion to end up going into up for the next season. And nearly won, of course, the Hungarian Grand Prix. A few moments' time, it will be underway, of course, for what is, I believe, it's 36 laps at the Hungaroring.
It should be, indeed. Waiting, obviously, we do not know when exactly the lights start going on, but yeah, just a guessing game at this point. Also, trying to guess the strategy of these guys. Do you, if you start in the back, start on the hards and hope that you can outrun these guys?
Well, we'll certainly find out in a few moments' time. Look, but never stare, because here in Hungary, let's go! And Mark gets a good start. The Haas alongside as well in the middle of the Ferrari. And look to the outside as Scheisty then leads the way down towards turn number 1. Further behind though. Who's it going to be? Oh, never mind. It's Mark leading down towards turn number 1. The game having a slight issue. The Haas in second. The Red Bull in third. McLaren lines in fourth as he come down the hill then. Everyone seems to have got away. Down as they come into turn number 3. The Ferrari having a bit of contact there in the meantime. But I think it seems there's a bit of ghosting going on. And hopefully that sorts itself out in a few moments' time. Because hopefully no one ends up unghosting inside each other. Oh, there's a bit of contact there, and I think the Mercedes, and that's Jake involved in contact with Nightcooler as they unghost each other. As Nightcooler, they're having a look up the inside down to the chicane, won't do it right there. As in fact, he's made a mistake and gone wide.
Wanted too much.
Yeah, he wanted too much. It didn't work there. The car of King Bryce having a little bit. It glitched at the start. Yes, it did. Welsh Benjamin in the chat there. Yeah, a little bit of a telemetry glitch right there. But Mark Crawford with a stunning start there. 1.3 seconds up the road already from Matt. Let's get all of our tyres on. It's one of these things, and it's mediums for the top 11. Ivan on the set of soft compound tyres. One set of hard for Jack Craig then. So he is going for the longer strategy, going for the overcut and have better tyres towards the end. As Madler, as Joe Flats looking for the inside. Nothing you can do right there. Scrolling down the field. Side by side, the Ferrari of Nightcrawler, who made that mistake earlier on. Under pressure, and getting a rather big thump from the rear end from Ivan there, who I think was just predicting he could break a lot later than that. It's come to croppers, and as he damaged the front wing, you'd certainly imagine so. That was a hefty hit from the Haas driver. A set of soft compound tyres, not the start he wanted. But back up front, Mark now really starting to stretch that gap very quickly up. He comes. Madge in second, Joel currently running in third. Jamie in fourth, James in fifth, so the double J, well, the triple J, because here is Jake in sixth, so Jamie, James and Jake. Fourth, fifth, sixth, Reaper, of course, who was doing very well, of course, I believe taken a penalty, because I believe he was pretty much up the front of the grid as well, is down a few positions. So, a topsy-turvy race, but so far, the gap's starting to come down a little bit. I think Mark may have made a mistake, Papa.
He may have. It's pivotal, obviously, for him to break the 1 second gap so he can break free from the guys behind. And it's even more pivotal for the guys behind to work together, to not fight too much, to not lose control of the race. Because if he checks out, he has clean air, he just controls the race. Everyone behind has to fight for their own thing then. But if they work together in the midfield, in the DRS train, they can catch him back up and stay within the 1 second as long as possible to have a chance to fight for the win. Something I want to point out, Reaper, who was very confident, had a brilliant start, made up 4 positions, and Scheisty as well with 5 positions he made up. Fox as well, one of the guys who profited from the mistakes we saw from the Ferrari. He made up 4 spots, so quite a lot going on there. As we said earlier, with the guy starting in the back, it was destined to be a little bit chaotic. So I'm just happy that everyone made it round without having to change the front wing or anything so far.
Yes, sir, and there are DRS activation time coming out of this corner. You want to be within 1 second right there, and it's going to be DRS then from Joel Flats then down towards turn number 1. Is he close enough to make a move down in towards turn number 1 is the question. I'm going to hazard a guess that from this distance it's going to be an almighty dive. So I don't believe we're going to see a dive from the Red Bull driver, and certainly not. In the background, I think one of the Alpines pulling out to make a move. Is a yellow flag, and who's that for? It's Ivan, who's off in the last corner. And he's dropped it, and as he hit the wall, he definitely was pointing in towards the wall. And a man who is not having the best of seasons, as eventually the game will give us the third-person camera to show us the damage, if there is any. I think he might have got just away with it. And he's not having the season that he wanted to. He's struggling a little bit in the Haas, and he knows he's very quick. His teammates One, of course, as Mike's saying, my co-commentator here, he's unfortunately in the croppers on those set of soft compound tyres, so that's going to be a tall afternoon for him, isn't it?
Yeah, there still might be some safety car issues, so he might catch up due to that.
Well, he's off again. He's in the wall.
Are so close. Ah, shame. It was his goal to just keep it clean. His very hands-on approach was to just survive, and everything else was bonus. So he just has to keep it on track right now and hope for something to turn around his race, because right now 30 seconds behind P14, struggling to keep the car on the road. That's really hurtful to see.
Yeah, he's struggling. Rear tyres are, well, you can say pretty much cooked right now. There's nothing left on them. Meanwhile, up front, 4/10 the gap all of a sudden. We're looking at the car struggling there. Fox and Jack Craig switching positions down towards turn 1 in the background. So a little bit of a battle right there. And you can see, and I think that's Ivan who's made a mistake yet again. So it's going from bad to worse. He's looking to the outside. Oh, contact there. That was Aston Martin coming in out of control into the side there. It looked like a Curly. So Fox there has absolutely come a cropper in that corner. He's made an absolute meal of it and is run to the side of Curly, who might have picked up some damage on the car. Definitely he was behind the Mercedes and all of a sudden was ahead of the Mercedes inside the Alpine. And that is not what you wanted. As out of the race comes Ivan Tonic, and it couldn't have gone any worse as Ride goes the racing balls there of Riley. He just about keeps it ahead of Jack Craig, as here is Jack's opportunity to look potentially down the inside. We brave stuff from there. Back up front though, Mark Crawford, Madge, Joel Flat, DRS enabled, and DRS is definitely on for one or two of these drivers. And Madge has the DRS behind them. Joel Flat has the DRS. Jamie sitting down in P4 where he needs to be right now, as a DRS train kind of slightly forming here. First, second, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. Nothing separated. Here is Fox ahead of Riley, who looks to the inside. Late braking manoeuvre. Gets the car stopped. Is round the outside. A bit of contact. Wheel banging there from Fox. And now they're going to be very careful rejoining the circuit as a championship leader in all sorts of wars right now as Lee's lot battle away. Aston Martin to the outside, Ferrari in the middle, Aston Martin wide. Here comes the Mercedes, then comes the Alpine switching around the outside. It's all switching and changing every corner really between these guys. Off the road goes the Ferrari, slightly wide goes the Mercedes. Not any movement down here, you would imagine, into the chicane.
You would imagine, but Fox really was the cork in the bottle there, it seems. That's why we saw it get so hectic, because these faster drivers feel like they're stuck behind after making early mistakes and not the progress that they wish they would. So they lost their patience and just tried. There were 4 cars into one corner and not an inch given by any of these drivers. So especially Nightclaw, who made a big mistake in lap 1, fell back.
Oh, careful! Contact with, that is Jack Craig, and I think he was trying to do an undercut there on the car of Riley, cut across the front, dives into the pit lane, and that is not what Jack Craig wanted to have. Meanwhile, we're just going to quickly check the gargantuan battle, really, of a DRS train, will I say right now, unfortunately, between first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and really down to 8th position. That was a little bit of a day late and $1 short of a cutback, and, well, Jack, I don't think he could have done anything of it. I don't believe any damage was caused because of it, but not what we want to see, a little bit of contact, but like I said, I think they all definitely seem to have got away with it. Alpine, though, still leads this race, 7/10 of a second. We are expecting pit stops very early. The tyres do go off very quickly around here. It's between laps 6 and 12 from my experience. However, my tyre wear, this seems is extremely high normally when I race on these games. So we'll see when they're coming in.
And there we saw what happens when you lose your patience. I mean, Nightclaw now had to pit because his front wing probably was broken after those maneuvers, and I believe he also got a 10-second time penalty for that. So
yes.
Really, they lost a bunch of time. Now they're 9 seconds almost behind Scheisty in P8, so they really won't make the progress because of all that fighting. Had they stuck their ego back and just said, okay, along you go, and we just profit from each other's DRS trying to catch back up to the train. But no, now they have to get creative with undercutting, as I believe Gamer James and Joel Flats are also in the pits, and Curly still going on. Now Riley was there.
Yeah.
The slower driver holding them up, so maybe...
Yellow flag, that's Mark! Mark in the wall, and the race leader, he's made a mistake then, he's probably got on the curb on the outside, he's into the barrier. Is there damage on the front wing? I think the front left end plate's gone. I think the front left end plate on the Alpine. The cut to the camera, yes, the front left is gone, and he's made a critical, catastrophic mistake. And the man who was leading pretty comfortably in the first couple of laps is finding himself, well, certainly coming in the pit lane, and we must presume that is either going to be tyre wear that's caused that, because they are very much wearing. Are we going to see Madsland diving into the pit lane? Are we going to see anyone diving in the pit lane? Here comes Jamie then, into the pits. Gets it nice and slow down, keeps it on the curb a little bit there, wants to be careful, doesn't make a mistake. In comes Jake, in comes Reaper as well. And Reaper almost looking for an overtaking opportunity in the pit then. In comes Shiesty. Mark Crawford in as well, but that's going to drop him all the way to the back of this group. We'll come out ahead of the group behind, so we'll rejoin at least around about 8th position when things eventually play out. Remember, everyone has got a 2-stop strategy around here, so we're expecting, if they're on the mediums, around about lap 18 to come in to the pit lane for a set of hards. If they're on hards, we believe it's around about lap 25 we expect them to come in. But Curly now ahead of Jack Craig for 2nd and 3rd, medium versus hard. And you've got to feel a little bit of sorrow for the Alpine driver. And where's that going to put him? It's right at the back of the grid, isn't it? Yeah, it's down there. And you can see turn 3. 2 and 3 is currently coming through. So, on a set of hards, safety cars very likely around this circuit. It's an easy track to go off the road. We've seen, well, 2 cars having mistakes, 3 cars as well if you count the Ferrari earlier on. So you gotta have your wits about you around here. And it's these small mistakes, and I'm gonna presume he's gone the outside curb and has dropped the rear because of the tyres and gone into the barrier.
It happens so quickly, especially on those flowing tracks where you cut the corners and just a little bit of grass you touch and you spin out and you lose control. Something that happened though is that Gamer James and Joel Flats pulled a blinder here with their undercut. They made up a couple of spots, pitting a lap earlier than their rivals, and now they're ahead of the guys that were behind them, that they were behind in the train. Close, but still every position in such a train especially counts.
Yeah, King Bryce has made a mistake in the penultimate corner as well. He was on the grass and recovering. That's why I went, as he dropped down a few positions and is currently sitting himself in P9. 16 seconds, the gap up front for Madge from Jack Craig. And Joel Flat, he is sitting, that's about 19 to 20 seconds, I believe, at the current. A spike behind Gamer James. Looking left, looking right. Nothing you can do in this section. Behind him, Jamie and Jake. So the Triple J still all together as well. And I said this, of course, in the Realistic Performance League before an inside of a massive accident. But these drivers, they've got to be careful here. They don't end up tripping over each other. It's very easy, especially around here. Like I said, we've seen a few cars making a mistake into the wall. You do not want to end up spinning or having unnecessary contact. Of course, it is a non-contact sport, Formula 1. Unlike the likes of touring cars, here comes Joel Flat on the back of Fox, and this will be a relatively easy manoeuvre down the straight. Then to the inside he goes. So he's gone on the straight, and you're surely going to imagine James wants to get through at the earliest opportunity, but needs to make sure he does it well. On the exit of the corner, that's what he wants to do. Has he got the car a lot on the outside, or is we going to see Fox up the inside still? He is still there, and that's what we wanted to see, and that is exactly what I said. You want to be careful and not get into a mistake, and round goes Fox, rejoins the circuit, and you might have said Fox probably could have given that one up, but you have to say he was on the inside line, and James probably should have seen him coming, you would imagine there. He would have got the arrows to say A car is alongside and is seemingly turned in. We were on the outboard camera, if you don't know how much on the inside the Aston Martin was, but it's rotten luck for Aston Martin. They always seem to have issues this season, and another one there. They're currently 14th and now down in 10th, and of course yet to stop his Fox, so that's going to put them last and second last, we believe. The top two still yet to come in. Well, never mind, the first place is in. We're surely going to see Jack Craig soon.
Yeah, but it's very questionable by the Haas at this point. He's going to pit now, but staying out so long must have lost him time, because the other guys with their now also lit up hard tires had much more rubber to put down in these corners, so they must have made up a bunch of time. Let's see where he comes out. So yeah, he's 2 seconds it is behind the train. He used to lead comfortably, so let's see if he can make up that time on a new fresh set of medium tires.
Yeah, that's certainly going to be. He's not too far behind, like you said, about 1.8 seconds, and already starting to close in pretty quickly here. And it is kind of a little bit of a concertina effect going on here. It's Jack Craig has got a bit of a gap from James, who had that contact a moment ago. He's ahead of James and Jake, and I did see here Jake could be on for a very decent result. I said it earlier on and said he's going to curse me, so hopefully I haven't put the double curse on Jake, but he is currently sitting in P5, behind, of course, the man who is a very good friend of his, and that is of Jamie. And these two got along very well indeed. Jamie, of course, won many seasons ago. Jake is a very established driver in his own record. Is out of the way. I believe that was a move into the last corner between James and Jack. And Jack there is probably going to, I think right now, if he can come back at James, I reckon he will. Or if not, he might try and slow Jamie up a tiny bit to allow his teammate to have an opportunity here. And this could be tactical play from the two Mercedes drivers. And there's no way through down into this corner. And you can have a look from that far back, but it will always end in tears. The best opportunity here is use the ERS up here and try and blast through. However, and you can see here, Jack has saved a lot of his ERS here. He knows right now where to place his car. He's saving it where he needs to. He is going to be going on a medium then, so he needs to be around about lap 15. Unless, of course, you're going for a double set of hard compound tyres, which is possible. Looking to the inside, Jeremy. Not going to find a way through there, sunshine. And just want to be careful here, because all it's going to be battling is going to allow... No! No, Jake! No! He's made a mistake. Well, he's got tapped by Reaper. And I was... every time I say Jake's going to go, well, something has gone wrong for him. And he almost got put into the barrier. And, well, that will certainly ease a little bit of pressure from Jamie. Because now he can try and come through as quick as he can, but just wait till the DRS. Do it down towards turn number 1. And that was a bit of a mistake. That was Reaper. It looked like slightly tapped the rear of Jake. And I said they have to be careful behind, and, well, it certainly was be careful behind.
I did not catch the beginning of that, but you really have to ask yourself, what do I gain if I stay in this fight? Now that we're side by side and I'm off track, it looked like he wanted to pit maneuver. I don't want to accuse anyone, but it looked like he wanted to pit maneuver him, rejoining from the track, from off the track. So that's a no-no. A lot of will be said about that, I believe, afterwards at the steward's office.
Oh, it was certainly. It was just there wasn't many malice into it. It was just Jake was a little bit wide, and all of a sudden there was the car of Reaper, and there was nothing you could do. It's almost like that. And you imagine here, we're going to see the two Mercedes switch positions, and they do, slightly awkwardly switching positions. That will mean, I suppose, that Reaper will drop a little bit behind here. So they've kind of done it in an awkward position, but I suppose it does work out pretty easily. As Reaper's going to presumably have a little lunge up the inside into the last couple of corners. No, he'll probably now wait for the DRS, unless you're going to go for it now. The inside he comes then. And Jack he's a wise old fox there, and I imagine now he'll dive into the pit lane. That 15 though, so there we go. It's around about the time. Gets it all stopped in the entrance, and now just to make sure he gets it on his mark into the pit lane. Easily does right there. Two-time penalties, Reaper and Nightcrawler. It's Jamie battling away with Madflin down towards turn number 1. Madge has got the position then on Jamie, and the man who was doing extremely well earlier on is now taking the position yet again. And he's very quick, this Haas driver, isn't he?
He certainly is. It will be interesting to watch his progress now that he has his mediums lit up. They, as you said earlier, really fall off quite early, especially given that he's made some progress now that he fell behind. So he will have to go either to, that would be audacious, to the softs in the end, but he will probably get a sneaky little undercut in if he wants to going to the hard. So it will be a strategy battle now. As we see, a couple of guys already collected some time penalties. Nightclaw very early on, it wasn't a 10-second penalty, it was just bad timing. As he pitted, he got the 3 seconds, as well as Reaper, and now Riley as well.
Yeah, meanwhile, here comes Matt Glenn down towards turn number 1, and we're going to have a little look, Glenn, to the outside line, then late braking. Has he gone all the way around the outside, then the Hashtag on the Williams to the outside line. It's going to be difficult, but it's going to be possible then. He'll get the double dose of DRS, then down, of course, into turn number 3, as long as he gets the car all turned in, which he does. And up into P2 then, as Jake and Reaper go battle then side by side. A bit of contact then from the Red Bull driver. The Mercedes driver keeps to the inside as they go side by side then. One of these is going to have to lift, and it's going to be the Red Bull, I think, who slots out behind. Jake just got the car slightly ahead, and it's a corner where you certainly can't go 2 by 2. And I think certainly Reaper very wise on that one, because it's a corner where it's very quick. It's a quick left-hander taking out, what, over 140 miles an hour at least, above that.
Very mature there. Yeah. I want to apologize accusing him from any wrongdoing. That certainly
it's all good.
Didn't look like he had any ill intentions at all.
Yeah, most certainly. It was just a mistake then. They just seemed to have glided into each other, just as the ironic timing of me saying that I was saying Jake was doing well and immediately got collected nearly into the wall. Somehow, though, I will say, fair play to Reaper for managing to get the car slowed down, not to end up with Jake in the wall with him, because when these cars connect, it's very easy to do. Meanwhile, here comes Jamie up the inside, a bit of contact there with the Williams, and here comes the second McLaren, and the McLaren goes around of Shiesty. That was never going to work, and the car, the gap was there for a briefest of seconds, and all of a sudden it closed, and that was all really caused by Jamie, who kind of made the gap there with James, and all of a sudden Shiesty was like, well, here's an opportunity, I'm going for it. And again, to what I said earlier, the drivers need to be a little bit patient. They need to be a bit more tactitious with their play. It's a long race, and these little mistakes like this, it's dropped the field. Look how much the field is starting to spread right now because of it. Meanwhile, here is Jack Craig battling with Riley up the inside. He'll back out of it. And like I said, and it's very respectful here not to try and dive up the inside and black corner. He could have with a little bit more of power, but it's not really being the race of Jack's 400th race. It's not going the way he wanted, is it?
It's not, but telling you what, Joel Flats up front is doing a really good job. He stabilized the gap more or less, a couple of tenths between the guys, but the... Oh!
Off the road! Sorry to cut over, and that is Riley, and I think that Jack's been involved as well. I think it is. Jack and Riley have come together then, so...
and reset on track as well.
Yeah, I think... Was that a reset? I think he managed to rejoin the circuit. I think he's got rear wing damage. That's rear wing damage on Riley, so I think that's going to be a straight into the pit then to retire then. And I didn't catch it, but I'm expecting, presumably he has got rear wing damage to come into the pits. No, he's staying out then, so maybe he hasn't got damage. We'll keep an eye on it. And I'm only going to imagine it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, turn 9-ish. Jack is going for a move up the inside, potentially. Now, I'm not saying it because, like I said, the curve on the outside is very easy to make a mistake, but Jack definitely lost time that lap time. So, was there contact? Potentially. We will find out in due course, but whatever it was, Riley was into the wall, very fastly into the wall backwards, arriving at in the rear, and that's going to have probably caused rear wing damage, and we'll see what his lap times are going to be I'm right on board with him, and we'll just see how loose the car is. Yeah, that's certainly rear wing damage. So that'll be a tall order to get back around without having a mighty smash. Meanwhile, Madge, 1 second. The gap is closing. Now he's within a second, but hasn't got the DRS.
Yeah, I saw the progress while we were watching the end of the field shenanigans, and of course I cursed him. He had a couple of laps where it was stable at 2 seconds, but now he's firmly within the second, despite his mediums already being 7 laps old, on his 8th lap now. So they should degrade, but he's also making a really good job in managing the battery, while Joel has barely any battery for all the lap.
Oh, Madge is off! He's in the wall! Madge is spun into the wall! And, well... And he just lit the tyres up too much on the curb earlier. And it's a corner where you can make mistakes. And around he went. And, well, welcome, turn off the road. That is Riley. He's in the wall, heavily at turn number 1. And, well, I'm not sure how he's ended up in the wall at turn number 1 like that, because it was very, very off. He's got damage. And now he probably, if I'm him right now, I'm letting the Aston Martin through. I don't want to be up the inside like that, and it nearly ended up coming a cropper, but Riley was very wayward off down there, and I'm not sure how you managed to make a mistake like that to go off into there, and we'll find out. What this means, though, is now Jamie's up to P2, so Jamie, James, Madge now down into P4, but we know right now he's got the bit between his teeth, and I think he's going straight for it again then. Round the outside, but he is going to have warmer tyres. Do the old switcheroo then to the inside, banging tyres then with the Williams. But is the Williams going to have the car back up the inside? We know he's late braking, but he hasn't got it then right now, and Madge is saving all of his ERS as much as he can, and you see 60% of it. 5%, 22% up front. So a lot of these drivers very, very worn with tyres. There's lap 20 of 35. And if there is a safety car right now, what are you going to do? All set on a set of hard compound tyres. If there is anyone who ends up in the Armco barrier. And there is the answer if they are, because we hopefully don't see a safety car. But if we do, it will presumably be right now everyone has set of hards for the last 15 laps as in comes Riley. And I feel this might be a retirement. Yes, it is. So out of the race. Our third real retirement technically, because Ocon did not start due to a technical issue on his end. Ivan Tonic out earlier on. Riley out as well, we presume, with rear wing damage.
Something must have happened, because the Haas and the Williams seem to have come together, or somebody made a mistake.
It was down
James now has a 3 seconds time penalty, and the Haas is firmly in front.
It was down towards turn 2, so he got through up the inside there, and James, I think, picked up a time penalty. It's probably going to be out the chicane. Rear wing, yellow, red front wing as well, says that, so... Yeah, that's what happened to Riley. Mike says, don't sleep on Nightcrawler for a potential podium. He has done his second stop this afternoon. Presumably it's going to be a set of hard compound tyres. And I did say about 15 laps to the end. So it's what he's going to do right now and try and come through. But longer these other guys stay out, the more of the offset they're going to get when they pit. And I'm going to presume a few of them are going to go on a set of medium compound tyres. Let's get the tyres up. And you can see hards. Mediums from Madge right now, so we presume he will go on another set of mediums, and it's going to be mediums, we presume, again for the rest of the field.
I expect the Haas to pit around the next couple of laps, because he will have to go to the hards, and he will profit from it, as Joel takes the opportunity and probably also goes for a set of hards at this point. I would take 15 laps to go is a big ask for the mediums. It's possible, but you're gonna lose out so much pace in the end.
Yeah, another set of hards, so they do have 2 sets of hards, which moves. See, where is he going to come in? In comes James, so it's going to be pretty close to Mark Crawford, who has, of course, dropped very much down the field from earlier. Nightcrawler up into ahead of the man who was leading this race, but has those 6-lap-old tyres. So now really it's going to be the thing. Can Nightcrawler defend anything, because these tyres, it's going to be a tall order for Nightcrawler to get to the end. They'll be very high. They'll be up into at least the 80% range, I believe, on the set of hards, because it's around about 15 laps you can do. So they're going to be worn. They're going to be around about, what, 20 laps? Nearly? So it's going to be difficult.
I think that is not the right call here for a podium that Mikey is aiming for. But we will see. I hope that I am wrong. At the moment, Joel struggles to keep up, it seems. Maybe it's because his tires obviously are not warm yet. So maybe next lap he's within that second again. So he's my real guy for the win tonight. All the other guys made mistakes and threw their opportunities away. Now we will see where they end up, because I believe it was 5 seconds around for Joel ahead of Jamie. Now he did the undercut and profits also from DRS as he goes on the straight. So 2 doses of DRS with one guy pitting, that's also something to consider here.
Yeah, it was a little mistake there from Nightcrawler out of the corner, but is there an opportunity for Joel? It'll be a day late and a dollar short down into here. And what are the penalties looking like? Well, there are your penalties. 3 for Nightcrawler, 3 for Reaper, 3 for James, 3 for Fox, and 3 for Bryce at the current time. Everyone on a set of brand new hard tyres. Riley saying that Jack went for a move and hit his rear, and that's why he spun into the wall. So I theorised that could have been what it was for. So Jack, a little bit of frustration right now, I'm guessing, and he has yet to stop one more time in this race. He finds himself again ahead of his teammate by just a few positions. Out of sync he is, and he is really going to be hoping for a race. Lawrence saying, hurry up, P4, P3 will be running late. Yes, P3 will be starting. I'm going to get around about nearly 5 p.m. then. It normally starts around about here, around about past, so we'll be having a slight delay for that one, due to, of course, a few restarts due to a little bit of an issue. Here comes Nightcrawler and Joel Flats then down towards turn number 1. 0 ERS then. Is Joel going to look for an inside down the inside? Oh, he's hit the rear of him! He's running to the rear of the car. I don't think any damage is going to be done. Reaper, meanwhile, still leading, but he has yet to stop. He's going to need to stop at some point in this race. Meanwhile, here comes Jack Craig battling away there. He's almost colliding with Madsen, and he is colliding with Madsen, touching wheels, touching tyres down the corner, and surely now he's going to get out of the way of his teammate, we presume. He'll pull to the right, lift off to let him through. Yes, he does. And a little bit of contact there with Madden. It almost ended up in a barrier then. But somehow they avoid it. Nightcrawler second. Joel Flats third. This is the battle for the podium positions then. And Nightcrawler is doing what he needs to do. But the more they battle, the more this is going to drag Jamie, James, Madge, Jake into it as well. They're not sitting particularly too far behind. So Joel needs to get these positions, and he's going for it, down the inside. Late manoeuvre, a brilliant manoeuvre, then dives to the inside. Nightcrawler caught napping there, but now is Nightcrawler got anything to come back at him? Look at the tyres, look at the gap, opening up 7, 8 tenths. I think Nightcrawler's tyres are going off very quickly here.
Yes, again, 20 laps is too much for the hard tyre as well. But nice driving from these two. I believe there was some ghosting involved. I'm not quite sure what happened there. As we see the Mercedes passing the Haas, maybe he
nearly
heads to do a drag race now. Gets a second dose of DRS, but is too far away to really make a move. Yeah. So both Mercedes actually have to watch out, both on 2 strikes, considering the track limits. And Jamie and Joel, I believe, are so far away from that. So also something to watch out for, as Nightclaw and Gamer James already have 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Nightcrawler really right now, it's not going to work. These tyres are going to go off. How many laps has he done on these tyres? They're, eventually I'll find the tyre thing. 9 laps. So they've got another, 5 laps to go, and then they're going to start hitting the cliff. So it's a tall order for a podium. It's possible, but he needs really right now a little bit of luck to go his way. A safety car right now would be lovely, because look at it. Rear end stepping out like mad. And, well, if you pit now, you're going to be dropping yourself, what? It's going to be right down the back of the grid then. It'll be down towards the light of Foxland. So let's see. DRS, here comes Jamie. And this was going to presumably be a relatively easy manoeuvre down towards turn 1. Up the inside he goes. Gets the car stopped then. All on his marks. A little bit wide. And a bit of contact on the exit. And another car. Let's try to do it a little bit of an undercut then. Back on the rear. And it's just slightly running to the right. Well, that's not going to help Nightcrawler's tyres. Now off the podium. And now is going to have the Haas barreling down him. And the Haas driver, of course, one of the favourites potentially for a podium, if not the win, if he can do it. But Joe Flatt needs now to, if he's got the bit between his teeth, to try and use the bit between his teeth and try and roll away. Mike is saying, I didn't teach him that one. No, a little bit of a mistake. I think he was just trying it and it just didn't go well. At this point, if you've got any fresh tyres, go for a medium, says Right Dog. Yeah, for the Ferrari, you'd have to agree on that one. 10 laps to go. So if he's got anything, it's going to be probably this lap or the next, and then just really it's going to be praying for a safety car or something to go on around the field. But I don't see how, unless any of these guys collide, we're going to get a safety car as hand goes up. McLaren.
I don't see him profiting from that either. With the time penalty, he really ruled that possibility out for himself. Because, as we said in the beginning, with margins being so tight, every 3-second penalty you collect is difficult to keep position after the race.
I tell you what,
especially if the timing sheets get nullified by or reset by a safety car again.
What a dive from Scheistle on Jack Craig. And, well, that was a set of hard compound tyres that has done 4 laps, or a set of hard compound tyres that have done almightily 12 laps. And I'm going to imagine this is a set of soft tyres for Jack Craig here, because I just have to imagine it's a set of softs, because otherwise he would be in around about now then on those tyres, which are a lot warmer. You can see how much he's struggling with the rear end. Up front, the gap still remains around about 1.3 seconds, closing all the time. It's slightly quicker from Jamie right now. James dropping a little bit, but is on the podium as things stand. Will remain on the podium, I think. No, he won't. Madge is actually within the 3-second margin, so we'll drop off that as things stand. Nightcrawler and Jake battling away for 5th and 6th. The Mercedes lights ablaze on the rear, and hopefully we're not going to see a Mercedes flipping into a tree in the next few seconds as we come out of the corner. Up to the straight we come, DRS enabled, and it's going to be straight to the inside. P3 will be delayed a little bit, but not by much. So it looks like Lawrence and Ivan will not get into the lobby right now then. So that's unless Laura, well, Lawrence, sorry, that was for Ivan, I believe then. So my apologies there. So a small...
So it seems the Haas is catching up to the cars ahead. Jake now cleared Nightclaw as well, has to abandon him to attack up front, because he's one of the guys. He is on the tight margin with the time penalties, but he could still profit from Gamer James' penalty, sitting 3.5 seconds behind him right now, and does seem to have some pace.
Yeah, so I suppose the lucky thing here is due to qualifying, they will be able to get the entirety of the race. We've got about it's about 7 laps to go in this race. That's probably what it'll be 13, 14 minutes to go. So hopefully we do not impede the start of the P3 race by much. Jamie,
because tell you what, both these all these cars ahead of Jake are doing a worse job in managing the battery than he is. They constantly have below 10%, which really punishes you. You get less power from your engine by being so low on battery, and all these guys are not really doing a good job to collecting energy and spending it in the right way. So the Haas is firmly catching up. Jamie is catching Joel because all these guys are really struggling to find the time to get their rivals. They feel the necessity to use every bit of their energy deployment, and due to that, they lose out. I believe there's still possibility for Michaelis. I don't know how to pronounce the horse's name. I'm sorry. Match. Okay. I still believe he is in for the win if things go his way. 6 laps to go, and he just has to get rid of James quickly now. Make a clean pass without losing time and attack.
Well, here's the first opportunity, and this is the opportunity he's waiting for. To the inside, then straight away down the inside, uses all the DRS then to his advantage, gets that position, but wants to be careful for the undercut with a little bit of DRS, but I think he'll be fine. He has a bucket load more of DRS then, so we'll be in P3. And now he just needs to go and chase down first and second. The gap now between them, 2.6 seconds between second and third, 1 second between first and second. So a bit of a gap right there, but hopefully it will decrease. It certainly will decrease because Madge definitely, he was leading the race for a comfortable margin. He's a very quick driver, of course, apart from a very early stage where Mark Crawford was leading. Now he's down in 9th, of course, after that mistake into the barrier cost him very dearly. And you've got to feel sorry for him because the Alpine drivers are currently 9th and 10th in a race where it definitely was looking like it could have been a podium at least.
They got caught up in the chaos and made some mistakes themselves.
Oh, yellows. Who's that? It's Jack in the wall.
Mercedes. And he reset again on track.
No, he hasn't reset.
No?
No, he's rejoined safely. Yes, I think your game's glitched. He has rejoined safely, so Flick spun the car.
Still up front. We have to focus on the fight ahead because Jamie just caught Joel. And with them fighting, the Haas behind now should have a better possibility to catch up quickly.
Yes, it most certainly is then. So here is the opportunity for Jamie to win the race, to take the lead of the championship. He is very close. The nearest driver to him, of course, is Reaper, who is down, very down the field then in 6th position. The Alpine driver, I believe that is Mark Crawford, in 5th place in the championship. And the guys who's very close to him is Jarrell, who is currently looking through the standings, the Red Bull driver. And that is going to be somewhere on there. It's not actually showing me where he is in the standings, but he's actually leading the race because in the wall has come Jarrell. He's spun the car. So, well, whilst I was trying to figure out what's going on, I don't have to figure out because he's made a mistake.
And now he has to recover because he is in the
off he goes again! Oh, sorry, that was Reaper off the road, colliding, and I believe that was with Jake. I think that was colliding with Jake there, so Jarrell's made a mistake, and now surely this is the real opportunity for Madge to take a victory.
If he catches Jamie in time to really attack with DRS, he might need 1 or 2 attempts. We saw that a couple of times on tracks like these, where you have to first get into the 1 second and then have to sort of study your opponent. But he is currently making slight progress, 4/10, I believe, 5/10, so close to that 1 second gap, close to attack.
He's still on for a podium, is Jarrell then, so the podium position is still on, despite that mistake. But what could have been a victory is now going to be a little bit of a wake-up call not to make another mistake, because you don't want it. Can Jamie just about hold on for this victory then here in the Hungaroring to take the lead of the championship? 46 points so far, a 5th and 9th, a 1st and a 4th. In the last few races, Reaper, who is now very much down in 8th position. Not what he wanted to do. Made a mistake colliding with Jake. Here we are then, beginning lap 33 then, with just over 2 and a bit laps to go. Behind him, Madge now the gap, 1.4 seconds. closing all the time. Can he get in within that DRS range? That is the question. Both on 10-lap-old tyres. James as well behind us. Is Shiesty making a move on Nightcrawler for 6th, 7th and 8th? And the McLaren there slots in ahead. The Ferrari rear tyres ablaze. Jack Craig did go on a set of soft compound tyres. He's just going to have some fun then on what is his 400th Grand Prix start. But it is.
I tell you, the odds are in the Haas favor. Matt really makes a better job of saving his battery. He is now firmly, closely to the 1 second, and he will have better deployment. He will have the higher top speed on the straight, because Jamie struggles to get to harvest any energy at all. So he can't really defend from him. With this double dose of DRS, he should be able to pass him easily if he gets it. It's so close. It'll be now under a second, or over a second.
He won't have DRS this time around. Jack Craig, fast lap of this race, 1:19, pretty much flat. So, here we are beginning the last lap, but one then, here in Hungary. The gap, as you can see, just on a second then, and DRS is going to be enabled if we can get onto the last lap, so we're going to have a 1-lap sprint. Remember, Madge will have the ability to use the hot lap mode as much as you want. Meanwhile, Jake has got himself up into P4 then, as it seems, as Joel Flatt's now down into 5th. So it looks to me that Jake could be on for a potential podium here today. But what about the gap from front? Now under 9/10 of a second. And if I'm Jamie right now, I'm putting on none ERS, trying to save as much ERS as you possibly can to use all of it on the last lap to try and defend, because you're going to have two opportunities around this circuit for a move. It's going to be down in towards turn number 1. Turn number 2, if you're very brave and you have the ERS down in towards turn number 3, but it's going to be an almighty send right now. And you can just see, look at 60%. If I'm Madge, I'm going to start burning it right now. Try and close that gap as much as you can. Here we are then, coming down the last 2 corners. Look to the top left, you can see the gap. He's going to have DRS then on to the final lap here in Hungary. And how is Jamie going to react to that? How much ERS has Jamie got? He's saved a little bit. Here we are then, DRS enabled for the pair of them. As we come down the straight then, is there any opportunity down towards turn 1? No, it's going to be an almighty dive from there. But you can see just how much closer he gets. He gets a good exit out of here, but Jamie's going to burn as much of his ERS as he can then as he come down towards turn number 3. First and second, driving a brilliant race then here in Hungary. But where is the opportunity going to come? He's going to try and burn more of his ERS down here then. Are we going to see a move down towards the chicane then on the final lap of this race? He's closing all the time, looking one way, looking to the other. No way through here. And if Mads can manage to find a way through, he's done it down here before. Surely it's going to be down to the last few corners if he's got the ERS. Jamie is saving absolutely everything on the ERS as well. So Jamie just needs to navigate the last 2 corners a little bit wide then from Madge, and that might be the opportunity that Jamie is looking for as he comes then the McLaren to the last 2 corners. A well-fought battle, a tense close last lap. Jamie then through the last corner, he's got the right-hander to do as it comes out to the left. Through the last corner he comes then the McLaren to take the lead in the championship to the last corner. Jamie will win the Hungarian Grand Prix by 4/10 of a second. Who is going to finish on the podium? I think it's going to be Jake. I think it's going to be Jake. Jamie's get a penalty. Jake will take P3 then. Joe will take P5. Up to the line comes Shiesty in 6th. Reaper in 7th. Reaper in 8th. Across the line, and look at the battle there. It's Curly, Reaper, Nightcrawler, 9th, 10th, 11th, Fox and Jack Craig down at the back. But Jamie has won the Hungarian Grand Prix, and with it will move into the lead of the World Championship here in P4. And what is that going to do for his confidence? His nearest rivals all making mistakes, and that's going to be, at least I think, it's going to be about a 10 to 15 points swing, I think, here for him.
Yes, disaster for Jack, who was our leader beforehand, finishing P12. I don't know if he collected the point for the fastest lap outside the top 10. That might be a little bit of a recovery, but not what he wanted ahead of this race. His teammate making good progress to P3, starting in the back. Jamie putting a class on everyone, defending with the grit on his teeth in the last lap, made a better job of collecting, harvesting a battery, and had enough to keep his rival at bay. But really, with that mistake, you also have to put your head up for the match guy in the Haas, because that was a fine drive as well. Lots of good driving, some mistakes here and there, but clean sheets for a lot of drivers who profited from the mistakes ahead. James clinging on to P4 by 2/10 against Joel, who will be gutted, obviously. After last week's coming together with Scheisty, he would have loved to redeem himself in style. He was up there, but I believe it wasn't meant for him, it seems. So, yeah, hectic race, interesting race. Surprised that it was so clean throughout, that we didn't have any safety cars at all. That was some exciting battling out there, despite the track being so ridiculously bad for overtaking.
Yes. Now, I will say, can you quickly screenshot the results? Because, as usual, the game is kind of broken. So if you can screen the screenshot... Oh, there we go. I can actually do a quick scroll through. This is going to be the world's quickest scroll for James, because I think in a few seconds' time it's going to disappear for us. Oh, there we go. So it's given us 30 seconds. Again, so Jamie from Mad Jake, James, Joel, Scheisty, Mark Crawford, Curly, who is on PlayStation, so he should be able to join our comms. He just needs to join it on that one. Reaper, Nightcaller, Fox, Jack Craig, Bryce, Riley, and Tonic in there. My driver of the day, well, I think you're going to probably give it to Jamie, so I'm going to give it to Jake. So to Drake, then my question of the day. A contact race earlier on in the middle, you nearly ended up in the wall. How was the tension going? How was that heart rate going as you managed to end up finishing on that podium yet again?
Great pick. My sim racing setups driver of the day is indeed going to Jamie. He managed to clinch it, having the pace, having the management, the strategy in race to profit from other people's mistakes when he had a difficult start to the season as well. Last couple of races he made good progress and was more satisfied, but now he will be obviously over the moon. Our new championship leader. It will be interesting if he can mount a championship right now all to the end. With his experience, he certainly seems to have the edge on some of these drivers. And my question, my question for him is, how much did you sweat on the last lap, and how satisfied are you with your win tonight?
Yes, and we will quickly round off the stream because Lawrence needs to go for P3 and the race for him will be starting in a few moments' time. So we shall end this one so Lawrence can start P3. But thank you from me and Papa. We shall see you in a few days' time. Until then, take care and goodbye.